California accomplished off floor, cracking 49 once more, and you can see some large numbers. Lee delivered the 9-9, and Grace Quinn was even better, fulfilling her responsibility as the anchor. The 9-9-2-5, good for a new personal best.
And as I mentioned, Grace has always been a constant in that floor lineup, and tonight she really showed why she's in the anchor spot.
For a California team, it bears repeating. Will not have Kiana George, unfortunately, all year long, out with the Achilles injury. You'll recall that the All-American is a former Pac-12 floor champion. And tonight, no Milan Clausen. We learned a few hours prior to the meet. The word from California Media Relations is that Milan is just under the weather. So expected back next week, and that's going to be critical for California as they take on Utah in that showdown coming up. And let's take you through the moments that stood out in the last rotation.
She is just so very solid on this event. Just each landing, she knew exactly where she was, and the judges really looked for control on the floor exercise, and Grace had complete control over this routine.
Well, if it's one and done, and you gotta wait all night, gotta feel extraordinary to come up with the goods as she did, especially in the context of the rivalry meet, although so many connections between these student athletes, so many of them great friends, and mutual respect abounding. Stanford, a reminder, over the course of the year, beam their best event, and they kept it going. Back to the word you liked earlier, a very balanced approach led by Wesley Stevenson.
Wesley, as I mentioned, is someone that took a very long break, and again, she's really catering to the balance of this team. She's calm, cool, and collected up there, and she really just knows how to make the balance beam her best friend, and that is why she's on the beam. That's why she's the beam queen.
She came to Stanford with major credentials, Illinois level 10, meets participant 6 straight years. You can see the breakdown as for the first time tonight, the Cardinal cracks 49. That is the goal, and the remarkable consistency. California, 49s across the board. Math is not my friend, but the arithmetic that stands out to me is California's up their lead to a margin of .625 heading into the final rotation on the bar.
Out there and enjoy and have a good time with the sport that I love, with the sport I fell in love with, you know, when I was 3 years old. So I have been just really aiming for that and just trying to find and kind of call out what it is that I love so much about this sport and why I even want to have these big goals and have these big dreams and go out there and compete and be with my team and things like that. So yeah, it's more of just a collective, how you said, rah-rah.
Rah-rah works, and as we think about some of the bromides for both of these programs, we hear things like control the controllables and be in the moment, and that's been borne out by what the sensational Stanford senior Kyla Bryant has been doing tonight. 9.925, new career high on the table, a 9.825 on bars. Beam at 9.725 for a Stanford team that only had 4 regular season meets last year. Did not start their competition until February 27th. For the first time in 23 months, fans are permitted to attend a Stanford meet back inside Maples Pavilion. And we've seen high-quality gymnastics performed by both of these programs, reflecting just how deep and talented the Conference of Champions is once more. 6 Pac-12 teams ranked inside the top 25. And I mentioned the word showdown. That's appropriate for what's coming up next week. Cal and Utah in Berkeley. You got Utah number 3 taking on your UCLA Bruins, number 22 as we speak, but no one is going to be watching that. Of course, today they're hanging on our words. You look stupefied. Thank you very much. People are watching us, not UCLA, Utah. Hang in there. Janae is saying, I wish I was at Pollock Pavilion, not next to Brian Weber. Coming up with These deep thoughts. All right, Janae, final rotation. Let's see what Stanford can do on floor. They're number 23 in the nation. Here is the opportunity. California has to have a worst event. Statistically, they're all in the top 20, but this is their most challenging routine on beam. Here's D'Souza wrapping up the all-around 9.825 on bars, 9.875 on the vault, coming off a 9.75 on floor.
She's a gymnast that really flows from one skill to the next. And as I mentioned before, this is an event that really you need to get into the zone, and Nevaeh gets into the zone. Beautiful hitch kick into a front aerial.
And we know how good she's been over the years. She's looking to refine things on beam. She's been sub 9.8 the last 2 times out. 9.85 week 1 against the Cardinals.
Very difficult sheet jump. Taking your eyes completely off of the beam. She's an absolute rock for this team. People trust and believe in her. She's an athlete that really just puts the work in. Justin mentioned that she's a joy to coach. She's appreciative. She thanks the coaches after every correction that is given to her. She's just a delight. Round off 1.5.
Well, from beginning to end, Nevaeh D'Souza was in total control. 5-way to wrap up an outstanding competition night. For the Cardinal, getting things underway on floor, here is Amanda Zheng. Second and final events with 9.75 on vault. Coming off a season high of 9.8 last week on the road to Utah. Personal best on 9.825.
She's reliable, up for any challenge. Top of the mention that she always takes advantage of the opportunities to step in. And what better opportunity than to lead off on floor. The front layout to a Rudy. Over-rotated it a bit. Those were beautiful leaps. It's really important that you get the leaps completely around when you're doing either a full or a half turn. The judges really look for that. They look for your feet placement.
Love to see the teammates getting involved in the background.
Double tuck to finish it off. She had much more control on that landing.
High fives from assistant coach Alexandra Pinchuk, former Stanford gymnast, teammate of Tabitha Yim, as the Cardinal is off to a nice start on floor and a quality ending for D'Souza. Andy Lee has been sensational tonight. 9.95 bars, 9.8 on vault, a 9.9 on floor. And I mentioned she put up a career high 9.925 in the season opener against this Stanford team.
Beautiful front aerial. She was just slightly off balance, but you notice she covered it up really well in transition to that jump.
Oh, balance check, but she hung tough.
Really enjoyed that arm movement she just did. Has a little bit of swagger. A gainer tuck tuck full dismount, a little more difficult than the usual gainer dismounts we see off the end of the beam.
And this is another event California would normally lean on. Milan Klossi under the weather tonight, so not competing. On a flat for Zheng to wrap up her evening. Third and final event for Maddie Burnett. Scores have been building. A 9.725 on vault. Bumped it up by a full point. 9.825 on bars.
Maddie brings a lot of power to this event, yet she's very clean.
She has enjoyed competing against California in the past. 2 years ago, a career high 9.875. Went 9.85 last year in the Pac-12 Championships. Best score a week ago, 9.8 in Utah.
She had excellent control on that first pass. Beautiful leap showing off her flexibility. The judges always look for that 180 split. Finishing off with a double tuck. She has solid control on that landing as well.
Crowd appreciative of what Maddie Burnett was able to conjure up on floor. Back to the beam in California. Scores improving, and Lee has been absolutely dominant. Second and final time tonight we see Madeleine Williams. Maddie went 9.85 on bars. Freshman from Vacaville here in Northern California, and chatting with her head coach just now, he envisions this freshman to be an all-arounder in the near future.
She started off the routine with a double wolf turn. That's very difficult.
And she gets his opportunity because on Kelsey tonight, after not competing a week ago, was the anchor on the road at UW and posted a 9.825.
Beautiful leap. She really gets that back leg up. Sometimes when you see leaps, the back leg is lagging a little bit, but she really made sure to amplify those leaps. Such a standout freshman. She has beautiful lines and sticky feet.
No doubt about it. That was a wonderful routine. Another star in the making for California. Have a night, Maddie Williams. And another great story to tell after Burnett put up the big number, flirted with a 9.9 for the first time this season. Here is Addie Stonecipher. She's a junior from Texas. Had to deal with a torn ACL early in her career. Last year made her season debut at the Pac-12 Championships and competes for the first time today on floor in just her second collegiate routine overall.
Yeah, she came in with a major injury. This is her first year getting out on the floor. Beautiful first pass. She had a whip half into a Rudy. Her mindset in the recovery process was just to get a little better every day. Came up short on that double tuck. Looked like she just didn't have enough rotation.
Stonecipher waited a long time for that routine, and the big smile tells the story. High fives all around for a former floor champion in the junior Olympic ranks. Williams, a clean 9.85 as Maya Bordas wraps up the all-around. Pair of 9.75s, vault and floor. Best score came on bars, a 9.85.
She is spectacular on this event.
Well, had a 9.9 in the opener against Stanford. Career best is 9.95. We know she's capable of putting up significant digits.
Dynamic series coming up. Flick lay a little off center. Holds on to it. Little balance check on that full turn. It may seem like such a simple skill, but you never want to underestimate it. Wraps it up with a great dismount.
Well, Maya has been very comfortable with numbers throughout her gymnastics career and getting ready to work in the world of business consulting. Nice performance by Stone Cipher in her season debut. 9.775 for the second and final time. We see Pollock, Gutierrez, freshman from Colorado, mentioned a member of the Mexican national team. Twin sister, Emeta, also on the roster. Gutierrez had the shaky moment on the vault, but the Cardinal was able to drop that sub 9.3 score. Looked like she stayed in, right up against the line in the corner.
Yeah, she was a little over-rotated on that 2.5. But she was able to hold it together and stay in bounds. But she landed a little bit low on that front tuck out of that first pass.
But a back-to-back 9.85s, a 9.825 in her college debut against Cal.
She really works the event that she competes on. It's such a joy to watch. Tabitha explained her as the spicy freshman. She brings a lot of fire and sass.
Yeah, I mentioned the word intensity, and we're seeing that play out in this routine.
Double pike. Good control.
Dynamic finish for the freshman from Colorado, who has so much international experience to lean on. Competed in both the World Champs and Pan Am Games in 2019 for Mexico. We'll take another look at her agility, staying inbounds by that much.
She was a little over-rotated, but just by a hair, she stays in. That's why air awareness is really important.
Stanford's been very solid so far, and a big hug coming from Tabitha Yim to start things on floor. Bordas wraps up her night. 9.825, third and final discipline for Maya Lazan. Her best score came on the floor, a 9.85, a 9.725 earlier on the table.
The angle of the camera didn't give that mount enough justice because she has the most amazing back flexibility, where she's able to bend herself in half, essentially.
Well, amazing is the right word, because Justin Howell called her an amazing athlete.
Beautiful triple series. She's right on. I'm just so amazed that as a freshman, she's just so calm on this event. Again, sometimes that takes time, so You find a gem like this who's able to deliver.
And that deserves a wow. Punctuates it with precision. We've seen her in the all-around the last 2 meets, delivering in 3 events tonight as a true freshman.
So here's her mount. And I don't know if you can see, but she's going to plant her foot down and then straighten out her legs.
Don't try that at home.
It just hurts me a little bit.
Well, when we chatted with Justin Howell, and Liz is always great and generous with her time as well, they wanted us to also acknowledge their lead assistant coach, Janelle McDonald, who was instrumental in all of California's success. We're getting closer to the business end of this meet. Just a handful of routines left. Taylor Lawson for the 3rd time tonight. A pair of 9/8s on bars and beam. She'll be honored as a 5th-year senior, along with Kyla Bryant and Lauren Navarro at the end of the meet.
Got a fun routine to watch here. Really impressive combination pass. Holds on to the landing. Seems like she flirted with the line a little bit.
Going old school with the music. Crowd getting engaged. A 9.825 in her lone floor performance so far this year, last week in Salt Lake City.
Double pike, she was able to hold on to that landing.
It was tailor-made by Taylor Lawson, and here come her teammates. And now a remarkable story to wrap up the California competitive evening after a 9-9 by Lazan. Here is Emmy Waterson, who had to deal with the sudden passing of her father in a tragic plane crash in mid-December. She went back home to Australia, was gone for a month, came back just days before Cal's last meet against Oregon State, and came through with a 9.925.
And that really just proves how much she's a beamer. To still be able to perform with such grace and execute really well. Side aerial, back full. She's looked like she's been doing this her whole life.
And the pictures tell the story. Another reminder of the kinship and camaraderie, so unique to college sports. And our hearts go out to Emmy and her family, and she feels so supported by her California family. Lawson wraps it up with a glittering 9.85, and we'll end this competition with the catalyst for the Cardinal, Kyla Bryant, 9.925 personal best on the table, a 9.825 on bars, and a 9.725 on beam. Last year, nothing lower than a 9.9, Pac-12 co-champion with Kiana George on the floor.
Another spicy routine for us. A lot of amplitude on that first pass. Full in. Complete control of that landing. breaking it down in the corner. Watch this last pass. She's going to do an open double tuck, and I cannot emphasize how hard that is to not grab on a double flipping skill. And she does it with ease.
A fitting conclusion. Kyla Bryant shines. Yeah, she's Superwoman on the farm. One of the greatest gymnasts in the history of this program gets it done once more. A reminder, California led by .625 heading into this final rotation.
Here's her open double tuck, and again, this is at the end of a routine, and she doesn't need to grab her legs. Most gymnasts you see do that skill, they will grab their legs, but she's able to keep her core engaged and hold her knees in long enough to land that so perfectly.
And more hugs based on an exhibition. 995 posted by Kyla Bryant. Stay with us. We'll come back with the final numbers to get you set for what's on the horizon for both of these teams next on Pac-12 Network. For the California Golden Bears, and the margin grew throughout the night. Started half a point. It ends at .675. As you can see, California almost got to 197 after they cracked that important plateau last week in the win over Oregon State. Number 10 team in the nation improves to 4-0, and for Stanford, as they fall to 1-5, put up their second best number of the year, almost exactly what they did against Cal week 1 in that dramatic showdown across the bay in Berkeley.
And I think a good thing for both of these teams is that they want to get better each day, and they're proving that each meet, and it's just really such a joy to see.
Start of a busy weekend of women's gymnastics here on Pac-12 Network. Be sure to join us tomorrow, 5:30 Pacific time, live from Corvallis. It is a top 25 showdown. Arizona State made it to NCAA regionals last year, and Oregon State, led by one of the best in the world, Olympic gold medalist Jade Carey. All the action starts 5:30 Pacific time from historic Gill Coliseum. Welcome back, fans. It was great to have everyone here at Maples Pavilion for the first time in 23 months, and they were highly entertained. They saw some sensational moments. Kyla Bryant, new career high 9.925 on